Welcome to Kerr 9000's Horror House.
Having gone to the cinema, basically on day of release, to watch Halloween Ends, really excited to see it and see how this particular trilogy of films wraps up. First thing I did was get home and film a very short, non-spoiler based review of it. And now I'm kind of surprised to see that the general view of it seems to be very, very different to that I have. In short, lots of people really seem to hate Halloween Ends, with people even going so far as to say that it's like a low point for the series and that they are forgiving previous films for their faults. Now, I'm not going to say that this film is a completely faultless film and that every decision it makes is one I would have made. Sure, I've got issues with it. As a reviewer and a critic, I have issues with just about every film I watch. For every moment I enjoy, there will be something where I think, they could have handled that a bit better, or it's a shame that character was wasted, or that we didn't focus on this particular crime or situation enough. But I really don't get the hate for Halloween Ends. Yes, we are all walking into a film with our very own set of expectations. Certainly, most of us who are quite hardcore fans will have basically mapped out where we think this film should start, where it should go, and where it should end in our heads long before we are even thinking about going to that cinema seat. Now, I do think to some degree the problem is maybe one that this film did not match people's expectations of where a Halloween film would go or where it would end. Yeah, I sat in this film and I watched the start of it and I was surprised it wasn't how I expected it to start, but, I was willing to roll with the punches and see where the story would go. It introduced characters who I really felt that I liked and I had all the best hopes for. And then it would take a character who I was really rooting for and flip things on their head. And I still sort of wasn't quite willing to go down that route. I'd think, no, you're making him seem bad, whereas you've made me feel sympathy for him and I've wanted nothing but the best for him. And I have to admit, though, that's what kept me on the edge of my seat. I was willing characters to survive. I was willing characters to change, to better themselves, to step away from the darkness. But what does that mean? That means that this film emotionally gripped me. It got hold of me. It made me think. It made me want. And it made me actually feel for the people, feel for the town. What more can a film do? Yes, it could have done everything exactly the way I wanted. It could have gone down exactly how I thought in my mind, how other people thought. But then, wouldn't that make it a predictable film? The whole idea is that this movie is a roller coaster. You don't know where it's going to take you. You don't know how fast it's going to go. You don't know what the corners or the swerves or the twists are going to be. And that's part of the beauty of a film. Do you want your films to be predictable and by the numbers, or do you want to be surprised and taken on a journey? Now, if you haven't seen Halloween Ends and you were just interested in someone's perspective, stop listening now. I didn't want to spoil the film for those who haven't seen it, but now I'm going to talk about a few things. Yes, the film starts with a young babysitter, Corey, who accidentally kills the child he's looking after. A child who, in fairness, is a dick. Yeah, they didn't deserve to die, but they're a dick. And the whole town turns against him. I actually felt for this kid. Who wouldn't? It was all a horrible, horrible thing that happened to him, but he was relentlessly punished for it. And from this point on, I wanted to see him become a hero. Now, that's where this film pulls its first trick, because he is a false protagonist. You think you're going to follow him, you think he's going to be a hero, you think that essentially he will become the modern Laurie Strode, or the modern Dr. Loomis, that he will be fighting the evil. Then the film puts him in a situation later where Michael Myers literally has him by the throat and can squeeze the very life out of him, and you think, oh no, he's going to die. I don't want him to die, I like him. And he gets away, and you breathe a sigh of relief. But he doesn't really get away, does he? That's the point. It's ambiguous, but essentially I believe that this is when either some of the evil is transferred from Michael to him, or Michael can basically sniff out another bad seed. Michael essentially knows that Corey is a sick potential killer, and so he lets him go. Now that's quite interesting on a lot of accounts, because we have all these ideas where people want versus films, Michael Myers, V. Jason, etc. Well, if we're saying that Michael can sniff out a killer and he's not concerned with killing killers, then, you know, no versus film for you, because he wouldn't care. He'd be like, yo, Jason, you're my man, you're another slasher, wicked, carry on. Okay, so we go from here, basically, that Corey, instead of being a protagonist, is in fact an antagonist. And he essentially becomes a new killer, a Michael Myers protege. And you start to think that maybe he'll be the new Michael, because, you know, Michael is not in a good way. Maybe this guy is going to learn all he can from Michael and then move on to be the series' future. Even at this point now, I was still hoping that he would turn things around, that he would see the evil within him, and that he'd stop at having killed his bullies and those who wronged him, and would actually be the one to put down Michael. The film didn't give me what I wanted, but I don't hold any malice at the film for that. It's the writer and the director's idea of where to go, and if it's not where I would have chosen to go, well, that's no problem. Kept me guessing. They even took it to the point where Corey died, making him basically nothing more than a footnote in the Halloween history. And then Michael died, shredded, you know, without making him some kind of demonic creature that possesses other people, or he's gone. That's it, no more Michael Myers. So, in the future of Halloween, probably you're either looking at them going back to the idea of telling different stories that aren't all based on Michael Myers, aka Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, or you're looking at some other form of reboot. I think a lot of people wanted Michael Myers to not die and to just carry on because, you know, there's the whole thing of he is the unstoppable force of evil, he is the shape. But to me, the point is that it all transcends Michael. The evil wasn't just him, it was an infection in the town. We've seen before in like Halloween 3, the Cult of Thorn. You know, the idea doesn't have to die with Michael. We've said repeatedly, evil never dies, it only changes shape. So I'm prepared to see how it changes shape in the future, but I seriously do think they need to just like lay off for a few years and let Michael rest in peace. It's Kerr9000 signing off, saying keep on watching those scary movies, boys and ghouls. Laters, taters.
Hi, it's Kerr9000. Thank you for checking out my video and for making it to the end. If you'd like to subscribe, then there'll be a little thing for you to click on right near the end, and you'll also see a link to one of my videos and one of my playlists. I make reviews of horror films, both modern and retro video game reviews, science fiction film reviews, and all kinds of other stuff. I even show off some of my collection. You can also find me on the Retro Gamer Unofficial Forum, which is a great place for retro gaming chat, and it keeps on growing every day. It's well worth checking out. Once again, thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.